We're glad you chose RTV News. We're coming to you live from our studios in Kigali, Rwanda, top of our edition. The government of Rwanda has noted that it has regret of the decision that has been made by the DRC's government to expel Rwanda's ambassador in that country. Regional security experts, meanwhile, have noted that the DRC's actions will not help the insecurity that has persisted in that country.
Decision has been met with the reiteration from the Rwandan government that such moves will do nothing to help the situation in that country. Like I said, we are not happy with that decision, but let me stress it again. It is a decision that deviates from the agreement all countries settled on, Congo included, on how to solve the problem. Regardless, this decision does not mean that the process has now been abandoned. Rwanda, meanwhile, has not expelled a single Congolese diplomat from her soil. No decision was made to expel even one employee of the DRC's embassy here in Rwanda, and that goes in line with the announcement that was issued stressing that Rwanda remains committed to contributing to a sustainable, peaceful regional security solution within the agreed regional frameworks, including the Luanda roadmap and the Nairobi process. Rwanda therefore cannot close the embassy if such channels are to be pursued. Experts on regional security, meanwhile, say the authorities in the DRC are not handling the situation in their own country properly. What I am seeing happening is similar to a malaria patient taking painkillers and believing that they will somehow recover. That country has a sickness in its leadership, and those who went to live there do so as if there are no authorities. They should first deal with those people and then take care of the political and historical issues affecting them. What they have done is nothing more than a manifestation of the sickness they have, that of playing the blame game instead of actively working to resolve problems. That is the reason they have given the Rwandan ambassador 48 hours to leave their country. Why don't they want to face the fact that the problems in the eastern DRC are Congo's problems, and that the government should sit down with its own people to find a solution? The announcement issued by the government of Rwanda following the decision by the Congolese authorities to expel Ambassador Vincent Karega also made it clear that any aggression from across the border would be dealt with accordingly. If they were to declare war on Rwanda, then decisions would be made. Even now, with the sort of decisions they have already made, they leave little room for complacency, and Rwanda is not idly standing by or asleep, which is why, as a spokesperson of the government, I urge people to be vigilant and careful about crossing the border into the DRC, only doing so if they absolutely have to. I'm not telling people to panic, but that does not mean those living along the border and with business in the DRC should not be careful. The announcement issued by the government of Rwanda also cited particular concern on the continued collusion between the Congolese armed forces and the FDLR terrorist group and their attempts to target the border area with heavy weaponry, as well as the bellicose anti-Rwanda rhetoric being broadcast by DRC officials. The attention of the international community was also brought to the persistent hate speech, public incitement and violent harassment against Rwandans and Congolese Kinyarwanda-speaking communities in the DRC, carried out by Congolese officials and the general public.
Farmers in dry areas say that climate change has affected their crops, including those who have their farms near lakes that are grappling with the high cost of fuel used in generators that pump water for irrigation. The Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources has announced that it has provided approximately 5 billion Rwanda francs for the programs that support farmers in this regard. Adam Squizera now reports.
Food prices have continued to rise in Kigali's various markets, making it difficult for many to make ends meet. While in some markets, a kilo of beans is costing almost 1,500. The cassava we used to buy at 400 is now at 600 Rwandan francs. Farmers in some parts of the country have been suffering from droughts for the last 3 months, causing some of their crops to wither and some of the seeds they planted to die in the ground.
The last time we had rain was in August. We even don't have a way to irrigate our crops because there are no lakes nearby.
Those who have farms near lakes try to irrigate to deal with the effects of the drought, but they also claim that the rise in fuel prices has become a burden for them because they use generators in irrigation process. We used to use 20 liters of fuel per week, but now we are using almost 40 liters. And as you know, a liter of gasoline is now at 1,607. It used to be at 1,000 back in the days. Dr. Geraldine Muteshimana, the Minister of Agriculture and Animal Resources, states that the government is doing everything possible to ensure that the areas which didn't face droughts should be facilitated to increase production, hence to cover the gap of where they lacked rain in this crop season of 2023A.
There's
one method of increasing soil productivity and another of supporting farmers to get quality planting seeds, replacing regular ones.
Potato farmers are currently using NPK fertilizers as per the government support, where they're purchasing them at 603 Rwandan francs per kilo, down from 882 Rwandan francs, while UREE and DAP fertilizers are being distributed free of charge in areas where rainfall has been plentiful. Adam Squizera, RTV News.
Students supported by MasterCard Foundation say they are encouraged by the opportunity and are grateful for the skills they are gaining, adding that they are ready to work hard to develop themselves as well as the country.
Olga Pamela Mukamisha and Rivas Mugisha are among the 75 students of the University of Rwanda supported by the MasterCard Foundation. They state the financial insecurity as one of the challenges that affected their education journey, but now this is no longer an issue.
I wasn't very stable back then because life was really hard. Expenses, life at home weren't very stable financially, and it hindered my studies so much. But after MasterCard Foundation Scholarship Program took me, they offer help, guidance, and now I have hope that my dreams will be realized easily.
Financial support. My family were not able to pay the fees, but I get an opportunity from the MasterCard Foundation. So now I'm encouraged so I can study as much as possible to reach my goals.
The country head for the MasterCard Foundation in Rwanda, Richard Rwigamba, states that the program is not bound to students only, but also the institutions they are in are supported in order to improve the quality of education.
This is as far as the student is concerned. But when you also think about the program, we're also looking at institutional strengthening of the organization. And so working with UR, University of Rwanda, in the 4 campuses where we are, we also will be looking at e-learning to some extent, e-learning and digitizing on some of the program. And so what this enables is that beyond, they're able to support the different students, even beyond the scholars program. So for example, if you're thinking about digitizing psychosocial support, for example, that becomes available to anyone who basically has access to that. And also we're looking at more of some of the materials that they have or information that they have that can go online. And that again allows for students who are beyond the scholars program to also be able to do that.
The acting Vice Chancellor of the University of Rwanda, Dr. Didas Kayihura Muganga, states that the demand for the support is high and initiating such programs is what is needed.
We would wish to have as many partners as possible who would support our learners to get what it requires for them to have a favorable learning environment because most of them are coming from vulnerable families. They were selected, and that was one among the criteria used to check the background. If they are coming from vulnerable families and they cannot be able to sponsor themselves or have enough to support their learning, that was a criteria to be based on. But there are so many. These are just a few among, as you heard, those who applied were 2,500, around that number. Only 75 were selected. That means that many more are there and they need that support. But unfortunately, MasterCard as of now can only afford those numbers. Now, if we could get many more others who would support, just like MasterCard is doing, those learners of ours who are coming from those poor families would get supported.
In the past 10 years, MasterCard Foundation has supported 40,000 students across Africa. The selected 75 students will be supported for 10 years long. Prince Manzi, RTV News.
In more news, in 2022, Rwanda was ranked third in Africa and 54th out of 129 countries surveyed regarding the registration of the intellectual property. Now, more than 63,000 people have registered their intellectual property and are now reaping benefits. Adam Squizera.
Biresa Bernard, an artist with many artworks on the domestic and international markets, believes that registering intellectual property is one way to fight those who forge their arts. Same to Uizemana Ale Patrick, who registered his two artworks, including an electric lamp made in basket and loudspeakers. In the last few days, I went to Karongi and found someone selling my art. I asked him if he made that artwork. I also asked him if he knows the laws governing that art. There I showed him the real image in my phone to prove him that is my artwork. After, I told him that he should learn arts instead. The first idea was lamp made in the basket. Then later, I made a portable speaker and power bank. There I talked to RDB about people who were forging my arts and told me to make two options, one of writing to them to stop using my arts. Then later, I talked to them and they understood after showing them my certificates from RDB. Rwanda is ranked 54th out of 129 countries in the world and third in Africa after Mauritius and South Africa, according to the report of the American Institute for the Research on the Protection of Intellectual Property, Property Rights Alliance. Rwanda has 5.41 points on the International Property Right Index 2022, while Finland has 8.17 points and Venezuela comes last with 1.77 points. Lawyer Innocent Muramira noted that registering intellectual property is important for the owner of the property because many people faces this forgery issue.
You see, many people would like to protect their brands. If you are a company X and you are operating in a certain country, you would want to protect your brand from being infringed on. Let's say you are writing a book and you would like to get money from it. You want it to be protected from infringement. You don't want people to steal your content. So, at the end of the day, intellectual property in Rwanda has done more good, because if, let's say, one has successfully registered his or her intellectual property, here we are talking about trademark, copyrights, patents, one gains power and audacity to sue, not only to sue, to seek damages in court if he or she's art or product has been infringed on. There is what we call piracy. Someone can be on a computer X and takes away your work and steals your work. That one, it is protected for by the law. But it will protect you if you have registered that work in Rwanda Development Board, because it is the only institution that is mandated to register and follow up. Now, if you didn't register your work, you will not claim that Innocent has infringed on your work or has stolen your work. The more applies to patents, the more applies to trademarks and copyright related. So you'll find that the benefits of registering your intellectual property, one, you will get money from it. Some will call them royalties. If you have seen some journalists, some musicians, you may even die, but your family or your company may continue getting money from your art or from your work. When we talk about trademark, if you have fully protected your trademark in a country like Rwanda, Innocent will not come from another country and comes in Rwanda, opens that very company or uses your logo.
According to the Rwanda Development Board, approximately 63,000 intellectual properties have been registered as of May 31st, 2022. Of these, 7,104 were recorded prior to the law's enactment in 2009. Another 18,819 intellectual properties were registered from 2009 to May this year, and 2,377 were registered by the African Regional Intellectual Property Organization, while 34,654 were registered by the World Intellectual Property Organization. Adam Squizera, RTV News.
Now to regional matters. While the East African Legislative Assembly is carrying out several activities in Rwanda, members of various parliaments in the East African community point out that such sessions of IALA assist in sharing experiences and closely evaluating measures to be taken to better serve the East African community as a whole. Honorable Dr. Abdikadir Omar Aden, a member of the East African Parliament from Kenya, in an interview with RBA, expounded on the various activities that will be carried out during the sessions and reiterated some of the benefits for residents of the East African community.
The East African Parliament is the parliament that is for the East African community. It is a legislative arm of the East African community, and it's headquartered in Arusha, Tanzania. But there is a practice for this parliament to go around and hold its assembly meetings in different capitals of our countries. And this time round, we are very happy that we are in Kigali, Rwanda. The importance of this is that as members of parliament, we represent the people of East Africa. I might have been elected into the parliament by Kenya, but for now, I am a representative of the people of East Africa as a whole. And for me being here now, I am able to do my not only legislative duties, but also be able to integrate with the people of Rwanda and, get a closer contact to the people of East Africa. So it is very important for us to do this. For our oversight role also, while we are here, we are able to visit a few of the, important East African community institutions. So we are able to interact with the representative of the people, and the people of Rwanda are able to have an opportunity, like we are doing now, to be able to interact with their members of parliament for East Africa, talk to us and tell us what they want to see better in the East African community. And also we get an opportunity to answer their questions as well. Many of the people will tell you, so what is the East African community? How does it benefit me as an individual? So, for example, we interact with the business people and we tell them how they can have an opportunity to tap the benefits of the region, for example. You are a business person. You go and do business in Nairobi, in Tanzania, in all over the East African community. So that way, we are able to create, for us, the opportunity we have is to create awareness to the people on the East African community and what the EAC is all about. And for the people, it's an opportunity for them now to ask questions to be able to inform themselves better about the East African community and the opportunities that are out there. We might meet farmers who are looking for a market in the East African community. So we tell them how to best link up. We might meet, technology people here who are looking for a market. Or we might find industries that are looking for, raw materials, and we tell them how they can source it from Kenya or from Tanzania or from Uganda, neighboring here. So that way now it is a benefit to the people of East Africa. From this kind of opportunities, we are able, as representatives, be able to take lessons from here and use the same lessons as example to the rest of East Africa, so that we bring important issues to the people of East Africa. We are also able to visit some industries. I think we will have an opportunity during the week to visit some farmers and see how are they doing things differently here than it is done in the rest of the. How can we give them suggestion of what we have seen happening in other parts of East Africa that can help them do better? We are happy. We've achieved quite a lot of what we've come to do, and we believe that in the next 1 week of assembly plenary meetings, we will be able to achieve even a lot more and to be able to conclude on the work that we came to do here.
We appreciate your company. Thanks for choosing RTV News. I am Isabel Masozera, and on behalf of the entire team here at RBA, thank you and have a wonderful evening.